Alrighty. Okay, so this is pretty much the intro of the game, and it's just quickly explaining to the player what their goal is for the game. Pretty much, you ate all of Big Boss's candy in the underworld, so now he's bringing you back up to the motor room to get his candy back.
You can play up to 4 players. Each player is able to choose their own character.
If you showed them the last week, that's perfect. Yeah.
And then you're instantly kind of thrown down into this little Halloween village. We've got some dice rolling mechanics. You go house to house. You'll see as we're running through the map here that the numbers in front of the doors, well, one, they exist, and two, they're going up. They go up the farther you travel. If you land on one of the houses, you will be prompted with a question if you want to trick or treat. Treating gets candy, and that's the goal of the game, to get candy. Tricking will steal candy from players that are standing on the same color tile as you. Trick or treat, something classic that we all do here, or at least all of us that live in the States do. And then treating in the spirit of Halloween, we wanted to have some mischief, some fun. And so we really hope that this will drive player-to-player engagement and interaction. Couch co-op games are kind of a throwback, and that's what this game was designed as. So we just picture families or friends sitting on a couch and really just trying to pull one over on each other.
You can also see we added some new mechanics as well that we're really excited about to help with quality of life and gameplay. So now with the dice roll, you hit Y twice, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in more control of your dice rolls. I really like that feeling. And then also we added the witch to the corner, and we're planning on doing some more visual effects with her, so that will be a surprise to come. Right here is the gate mechanic that Chad brought up earlier, and pretty much you have 4 gates on the map, and you need 2 pieces of candy to open up either gate. There's a special surprise at the end of these gates that could kind of switch up the game, and maybe player 1 is in the lead, but after they get to that special tile, player 4 may be in the lead. So it can really change the game and the experience that the player gets each time they play the game.
And each gate kind of leads to an area of the map that is unique in and of itself. They all have their own little mini environments that are themed around the final tile in that area. And the final tile of each area is going to allow the player a chance to either help or hurt themselves.
Right, right. My personal favorite is the graveyard, just because you have the little ghost floating around. Um, but a lot of players really like Bruno the Shark, so hopefully we get to see Bruno come out tonight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you like the graveyard a lot. You've got a whole story around around the little skulls, so you'll have to talk about it. But right here, we're gonna get a chance to roll for the witch, the witch tile. I don't know why that was hard to say. She's a witch in training, and she wants to help you out on your quest. And we failed the roll. Bummer. So nothing happened. So you won't get to see
The special
the
effect.
yeah the sequencer.
So
But
with
she basically tries to bestow on you some riches of candy, and messes up the spell a little bit, and all of the stars that you see above will turn to candy and rain down on the map, and they turn into pickups that every player can pick up along their way to the next house.
it's all in good favor. She has good intentions. Another mechanic I want to touch on that we added, we now to encourage players to trick and be more mischievous. If let's say if we land at a trick or treat tile. So on the left, oh, this is a good opportunity. You can see what other players are on the same color tile as you, and pretty much with the trick mechanic, if somebody else is on that same color tile, depending on the number on that door, you're gonna knock that much candy off of each of those players. So I thought that was really fun. And a great add-on. Another thing I like to kind of I'm like really enjoy like world building, not just with like instructions, but how can we use the level to guide the player, let the player know who they are in the world, what their goal is. So we added like to the left, you see the little sign telling you what that little gate leads to. And then you just cross underneath the player start tile, and you saw the little bird flying at the top. Because one thing we knew, players were getting lost and they didn't know where the starting tiles were. And as you can see, you have the birds letting them know, hey, this is player two, this is player three, starting tile. And I really like that addition to the game.
And the starting tiles are important because it doesn't matter how much candy you collect. You can collect 1,000,000 candy, but until you make it back to your starting tile, it doesn't count towards your score. And there's even a mechanic in the game where if you have too much candy, it kind of lets you know, like, hey, this is starting to weigh you down, and the player will start to actually start moving at half speed. And so you're really encouraged to make it around the board as much as possible to get back to your starting tile and to put that candy in a pile so that it's safe, and it counts towards your score. At the end, the player with the biggest pile wins.
Yeah, I hope we get to see that sweating mechanic. It looks like player three is encumbered now. He just made it 55, so we might get to see um, that encumbered state. In the future, we would like to incorporate like being able to hit other players when you're crossing past them. I think that would be a really good add-on. That was our mini map that Chad just had pulled up. Um, I like it just visually. I like to see how the world looks from up top. But it's in case if a player needed to know where the gates were or just kind of get an overview of the map. And if you could see that, I think that was player one. They just delivered their candy to their start tile, and you can see now the icon at the top right, the progress bar is being filled up, and a visual representation of how much candy they have at their starting tile is that candy pile that has popped up, and that's going to keep growing as you deliver candy.
Looks like player two might head towards Bruno the Shark here. One thing with the level layout and all of these special areas is, we were, trying to realize like what would encourage a player to leave the center of the board. The goal is to get as much candy as quickly as you can. So why wouldn't a player just go around the board and keep trick-or-treating? Like, why would they turn and go into one of these gateway areas? One, visually, I wanted to make sure that all players saw it. So you can always see at least part of these environments peeking out, like when you're on the board kind of near them. Two, we wanted to make sure that the reward was big enough and the risk was also big enough as well. And just now, player four activated this tile, which was asked if they wanted the treasure. There's a treasure at the bottom of the lake. Little did you know is that treasure is actually a whole bunch of candy, and it's located inside of Bruno's mouth. And so the player can come here, collect this, add a whole bunch of candy to their pockets, and now they just got to make it back to their tile to deposit it. If you were to fail that roll, Bruno the Shark then comes out of the water, chases you around the board, and takes candy from you. But back to what I was saying about like enticing the player to leave the center of the board. The price for opening the gates used to be a lot higher, and so we decided to reduce that amount to where players can really, by their second turn, if they want, open up that first gate and get to those areas quicker. So to summarize, larger reward. There's some risk involved. You can really change the game. They're fun little areas that tell stories, but you can get to it quickly. That's the biggest takeaway there.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but the music actually changed. So we kind of incorporated a little bit of a soundtrack into the game with the advancement or well, pretty much just activating any special tiles. It changes up the soundtrack, and I thought that was a good way to kind of change the flow of the game. So this was the soundtrack screen right now for when you go into Bruno Bruno. But each special event triggers a different soundtrack. And another thing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the things I want to say to you guys is that you guys did a really good job of talking about um, all the high level features and giving an overview of what you can experience with the game. But we want to leave a little bit of something for people to experience, so we don't want to spoil the whole game. So we definitely want to stop this part right now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Do you want to just stop recording?